I bought a car in January. I bought a car in January. Let that sink in, because it took me a while for that to sink in. Welcome, lovelies. Thank you so very much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate you being here with me. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I just want to talk a little bit more about my channel. I love to do videos, especially reviews, but more on things like luxury or anything that will bring us, you know, savings. I like to talk about it. I will go out there, find ways that you could save money, especially when it comes to luxury. And I do love to buy discounted stuff, more things on clearance than buying things pre-love. I do buy pre-love, but I have to go to clearance to make sure there are things in there that I don't like before I decide to buy something that multiple users have used and just passing it on. Some people love the fact that, you know, these items are loved already by someone else, but how you show that it was loved, how you show that, you know, it wasn't kicked to a corner. But that is not a video that I want to talk about today. As I say, I love to find ways that we could save money, especially when it comes to fashion, but also life as it presents itself. So having said all of that, this is January of 2021 and I bought myself a car, and I do not know why. I think it is a wise decision to buy a car in January, like beginning of the year, because this period most people are still trying to struggle to, you know, make this balance their finances, because Christmas probably took a hit with all the gifts and everything. But I decided I want to get myself a car. I'll tell you reasons why I got this car, and then I'll tell you the process I went through just to get this car. So the first car I had was Ford Taurus 2008. And that car is a very long car, a very long car. Like, it has like the 3-seaters. Yeah, so it carries, like, people think that I have like 10 children, because they'll be like, why do you have this car if it's just you? But it was a gift. When I came to America, I got that as a gift, and I was very appreciative. And I drove that car for at least close to 5 years, 4 years plus approximately. I think the person who gifted me, my relation who gifted me, bought it for like either $600. It was an accident car, but I didn't mind it because I was a student. And even though when I got my job, my first priority was to buy a house instead of luxury car, buy any car. I remembered when I saved down some money and I went to one of my family members, and I was like, hey, I saved up this amount of money. And she's like, yes, finally you can get yourself a decent car. And I was like, no, this is gonna be my down payment for a house. I saw the disappointment she had, because that car did not, I was killing myself. I wanted to buy a car, but I didn't want to buy anyhow car. I wanted to make sure that I have somewhere to live, I have a shelter, I have food on my table, I have clothes, and then we talk about car. So I have managed that car, even though during summer it's okay because the AC works really good, you know. But during winter, mind you, in the Midwest where I live, the winter can go down to like the negative, like freezing, very painful cold on your skin. But I decided to punish myself because I didn't want to buy anyhow car, and I just got into America and I just bought my house. So even though I was presenting a lot of luxury to you, I just wanted to buy the car that will last me for long. I don't want to buy a car and change it tomorrow. I want to buy a car that I will use for a long time. My best friend came 2 years ago. She complained about my car. We nearly fought. We were too butchered. We quarrel every time because every time we have to go out, because she's like, I'm cold, to the point she doesn't want to sit in the front of the car. She have to sit to the back of the car because she's too cold to tolerate seeing me, knowing I'm punishing her. She came to visit me. And then when my partner comes around, he always says, you need to change your car. You're killing people inside your car. How do you drive in this car? But I manage. I don't know. It's just, you know, I didn't want to buy anything. So coming down to like about 2-3 days ago, and every time I thought about buying a car, I always talk about the Wrangler, the Jeep Wrangler car. That is my ultimate car in my head, because I love rough. I love anything like roughness. So that roughness in me always wanted that sort of car. And my first car, it was a car that I bought in Barbados. It was a very old car. I think it was a 1998 car, a Suzuki Vitara, and I had that car for 7 years. It never gave me trouble, and when I left, I've sold it and moved here. So I have never really bought myself a new car. I have never, the only car I ever bought myself was the one from Barbados, and that is an old car, and I didn't have to pay that much money for it. But then you know, now I have bought myself a new car. Coming into January, as I say, I always thought about buying a car, but I decided beginning of like first week of January, I was like, what are your aim this year? What do you intend? What is like the goals you have set up for yourself? What are those goals? Car wasn't on it for sure. I wanted to try to see if I can get myself another home, like, you know, for sure. I'm trying to see if I could buy one luxury bag this year, and maybe eventually I can get myself a car. Like, a car was not, you know, it's a possibility. It wasn't like, you know. So I was driving like 2 days ago, and I passed through these lots that has so much used car in the car. Sorry, I know this is a storyline. And I saw my Jeep Wrangler for like $14,000. Guys, every time I talk to someone about the Wrangler, even my best friend wants to buy a Wrangler Jeep when she settles in the UK. But every time I speak to somebody about the Wrangler, they always have some sort of complaint. There's like, it burns a lot of gas, it has this and it has that, but it did not deter me. It did not change my mind. I still wanted that. So when I drove past through that lot, you know, where they sell used car, and I saw that Wrangler for $14,000, I was like, wow, I'm gonna go see what they have. Like, I did not, when I left home, I didn't leave home to go look for a car. I just drove past. I just drove past a used car lot. Did you hear that? So we drove in, and I started speaking. I started going through these cars. I spoke to the guy that I met there, asked him, you know, what's up with the Wrangler? Is it really 14,000? What year? So he's like, well, it's a 2008 Wrangler Jeep, but the only thing is that it's manual. When I learned how to drive, I drove manual, and I drove manual a couple weeks after, but that has been like 9 years ago, about 10 years ago, I don't know. But I had not driven manual for a long time, and I told myself I'm not even gonna put myself in that situation. So I started looking at the other cars. Like, they had the Audis. That was like 2011. I called this mechanic, and he's like, Audis give a lot of trouble, and it has a lot of miles already. It has like over 100,000 miles for this. And then he's like, I asked him about Mazda. That was like 2016, and he's like, don't even bother about that, Max. Like, it's a lot of trouble. So I was like, you know what, it is what it is. And the guy was like, you know, this is just the use, like the clearance, which I love to go through the clearance, as I told you, that they have more like the sophisticated ones over there, more like classy, more like, you know, if you want something more durable, go over on the other side. So he pointed out and directed us where to go, so we decided to go there. Whoever told me to go there? As soon as I drove into the lot, I was like, I want that, I want that, I want that. I was like, I was hyped, my adrenaline was going. I was like, let's get this going. So one of the guys came out, asked us what we wanted. He took us around the lot. Whew, mind you, this is my first time buying car in America, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So as I have spoken to my mechanic guy, and he's like, Toyota is the best way to go. I was like, you know what, I think I want something that will last me for a long time, because I don't have no money to change car in the next 5 years or 10 years. So I want this to last. Okay, so if you're buying it right now, we have to do this. So the guy came out, took us around the lots, introduced a lot of car, Mercedes 2019, Audi 2019, or this, that, and that, and that. Met this car. I saw this car, I was like, Lord, this might be it. So we went through, he told me what the car, you know, the name of the car, and allowed me going, you know, drive around, showed me all the things it came with, all the bling bling that I've never heard in my life. And mind you, I came from a very poor family, very, very poor. So I was like, you know what, Betty, this is it. Like how bad can it get? So we started doing the paperwork. He's like, come in my office, let's go through these numbers, and we'll talk more about it. So initially when we started, I'm going to talk about price now. The car was like, it was priced about, I think, $35,000. And the car in particular, the name of the car is Toyota RAV4 2019, the limited version of it. So your girl was gonna spend her money. She was ready to spend her coin, and I think they had like 17,000 miles only, you know, already. So the reason I was asking, why would someone bring back such a lovely car? They were like, okay, so the person wanted more bigger car because they have more family, so they changed it, they traded it in for another one. So I was like, okay, I mean, if that's what you say, I'll buy it. So I impulsively bought a car. Don't ever do that. So we went through it, and he ran through some numbers. The number was good with me. He obviously ran my credit and all of that. I was holding my chest when he was running my credit, and then it took about, I think, extra $4,000 out. So I bought the car roughly about 31,000 something. It's from 35. So he talked about how much I'm gonna pay. The interest rate was a little bit high, but I don't mind it. My intention from, you know, this year is to pay off that, so I don't have to deal with a lot, you know. This year, since I'm gonna suspend either the moving or try to make it late, you know, or getting another piece of property, maybe next beginning of the next year or something. But this year I'm trying to pay off this money that I just got myself. I just you know, I just went into debt. Like I just decided to go right into debt. But you know what, some people buy Birkin for more than that. 2 or 3 Birkins will cost more than that. So for me to make myself comfortable, $31,000 to $32,000 during the, you know, for my comfort. Like there's heater, there's a lot of things. I'm gonna do a car tour so I could show you like what this thing came with. Like it has everything and more that, you know, even my brother, when I took it to him, he's this kind of guy that is very skeptical and like buying car. He's like, this is a good buy. I was very impressed. I was very proud of myself. Like, he actually like thumped it up, because I was scared that he was like, what are you doing buying a car that is this new, you know, because they always tell you don't buy a car that is that new. They always tell you buy, but this is not a new car. This is a car that was traded in, so it's a second hand, but it's not like, you know, it's still a bougie kind of. So I have a bougie car. Like your girl is grown. Your girl is grown. So what I had to do was, previously I had to tell them my social security number so that they could run through my credit, and basically that was it. And then I signed some papers, and then I couldn't drive out up till I find an insurance, because my other car was insured by my brother, you know, and it was on his name, so I was not listed as a driver. So I had to get a full coverage for this car. And let me tell you, when it comes to insurance, please try to use different sources. Don't just go with one person, because the first insurance that I went that insured my house was gonna let me, and my brother insured with them, was gonna let me pay $260 something, because they said I'm a new driver. But then I started, like, I was really frustrated because I already spent this amount of money that I'm owing these people, and they want me to pay $200 something every month. That was excessive. So I went to State Farm, and the person that I met there went through all these processes, and I finally, you know, got an insurance, a coverage that is suitable, and that my salary can support every month, because you don't want to overdo something that you will be very poor every month. Because like these two mortgages, the house and the car, I'm already poor. It's like poor, because I'm gonna just like take this money. So I have to work like really extremely hard so I could get this out of, like, this car thing out of my system this year, so that hopefully by next year things are gonna gradually fall back. So this year my intention is not to do a lot of unboxing on my channel. It's more to talk more about finances, and also talk about reviews of stuff. I don't mind getting things, buying things, reviewing them, and returning it back. I'm not gonna tell you that I don't do it. Sometimes I buy things for the purposes of reviewing it, and that's it. That's just basically what it is, you know, and then I return it. But I'm gonna tell you if I'm keeping it or I'm reviewing it. But this year I'm trying not to keep anything. I'm trying to return it. Okay, so if you see any bag that is not expensive and I tell you that I'm not returning it, it's because I will work extremely hard next month to recover from that. Okay. Okay, so I seriously impulsively bought a car. Let it sink in. Okay, but we can do it. Set your mind to it and you will achieve it. It is what it is. I've been in America for 5 years, and God has been, you know, good, and my hard work has paid off. So I mean, I'm still owing, but I intend to pay them off. Okay, so thank you so very much for still being here through my rambling. Leave a comment and let me know what this year, what your goals are and what your resolutions are. My resolution is not to spend so much money on luxury or anything, clothing or fashion. Okay, to more be progressive in terms of saving money and being an adult's life, adulting. Okay, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye now.